See, Bills Mafia is ready to go ahead of their matchup against the defending champs. This is the exact outfit Greg had on when he came to work today.
But they wouldn't let me in there. Now I'm a Pats fan.
Game day view. Welcome to Game Day View, presented by Jeep Gladiator. I am Andrew Hawkins, joined by analytics analyst Cynthia Freeland and Greg Rosenthal of the Around the NFL podcast. People, listen, I played 7 years in the NFL, and not a single one of those Sundays compares to the juice I get sitting next to you every single week.
I believe it.
You
Seems
know?
totally plausible to me.
So legit.
I wish that was true.
It is so true. All right, tell me, what are you guys watching for? It is week 4. Things are revving up as the season goes along. So give me one thing that you're watching for first, Cynthia.
I'm really looking to see, this is the first time we've seen your Patriots, the team we kind of anticipate going straight back into the Super Bowl. Are they for real? What's this offense actually like? We kind of know that the defense is really good, like pretty historically good, but what is it about this offense? Is it going to be Josh Gordon? Is it going to be Sony Michel? Is it going to be only Julian Edelman? Who are they? I don't know if we've seen them play anyone up to the caliber of the defense for the Bills yet.
The good thing about the Patriots is that they always have weapons because they have the ultimate weapon in Tom Brady.
Right.
What do you got for me, Greg?
I'm wondering if these quarterbacks that came out strong a week ago, starting with Daniel Jones, are going to repeat what they did. Whether Daniel Jones and Kyle Allen and Teddy Bridgewater, good one-week stories, who's going to maybe change the season? Who's going to pick up their team for weeks on end? Can the Panthers or the Giants be playoff contenders with those guys behind quarterback? You know, crazier things have happened.
I love it. So what I'm looking for is 2 sophomore quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Browns, and the Ravens. I feel like this is going to tell us a lot about this season, not just about the Browns and who this team is, but also the Ravens. Are they for real? I want to see them in this division matchup do the things that we're expecting to do and the things they've showed in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Okay, so I'm actually going to put it back on you because we've seen Lamar Jackson, kind of everyone's gotten off of his back in terms of is he for real?
Yeah.
But with the Baker Mayfield stuff, it's revving up. It couldn't be more hotter of an issue this past week, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a receiver on that team, which you've been, not for Baker Mayfield, but you've been in that team, is this like a Odell Beckham takes over? Is this a spread it around? Is this a Jarvis Landry? Because we did see that the Ravens secondary had holes. We saw Mecole Hardman get way open against them. So what's the game plan?
Well, that's a good question, and that's like the biggest question and concern with this offense. But before we get there, I'm going to give you that answer next. We're going to kick it off first by going on the field, starting with Mike Garafolo.
Here in Baltimore, will this be the day where the Browns offense finally puts it together? Baker Mayfield, only 57% completion percentage on the year, and really only one big play, one passing play of 40 yards or more. It was a pass to Odell Beckham that was a catch and run that went for 89 yards, but really because the Jets inexplicably left Beckham uncovered. Well, they're going up today against the Ravens secondary that has had some communication issues. So when I talked to Ravens cornerback Brandon Carr, he said, we expect the Browns to move Beckham around. He's going to be in the outside, but he's also going to be in the inside in the slot. And when that happens, we know they're trying to create a mismatch. So that's where our communication has to be better, both before the snap and after the snap. We've got to identify Beckham and keep eyes on him. Now to Mike Giardi in Buffalo.
The Bills are 3-0, but the question is Josh Allen ready for his big moment? He has shown great signs of growth and maturity thus far in the early part of the season, but now he's facing the 3-0 Patriots with a defense that is setting all kinds of records for this portion of the year. Allen, according to Cole Beasley, manages the highs and lows better than any young player he's ever been around. He said not just week to week, but play to play. But Allen still makes those critical mistakes and says, I know that's on me. I have to cut that out. He let the Bengals back into the game, but then won it with his arm and legs late. He can't put himself in that spot against the Patriots.
All right, Cynthia, you teed it up. That's right. Undefeated Patriots in Buffalo taking on the undefeated Bills. Patriots favored by 7. What are you watching for?
Looking for these defenses stopping these quarterbacks, right? The Bills' defense is legit. It is for real. And the Patriots' defense is legit, is for real. I trust Tom Brady a lot more in these situations, but that's not to say something crazy couldn't happen in this game. Josh Allen is super volatile, so for coding purposes, for modeling purposes, which is how I base my projections, like the upside is high, but the floor is very low.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback that sometimes you can't scheme for. And I think that's the way to beat the Patriots defense is the plays on the move, some of the called running plays, and I think they'll be focused in on stopping that because the Patriots secondary has so many guys who can match up to your different types of receivers. They've got 6, 7 guys that play almost the entire game. And the Bills don't really have that many weapons in the passing game. So to me, it's going to have to be broken plays, him running around, him just like busting through what is not the fastest linebacker group in the world. If you're looking for a weakness, maybe it's their team speed.
I mean, that was like a nice fan way of being like,
What?
yeah, we're gonna kill you, but you know what? At least we've got some help against linebackers.
Just like run around and get crazy.
Right. So as far as the Patriots offense, the Bills defense is their biggest test. How do you think this offense attacks the Bills defense?
One thing to note, Julian Edelman was banged up, so he could see some limited factor. In this one, he took that big rib injury last game. So for fantasy purposes, just be mindful that if he plays, he could not be 100% in that one, or if he takes a big hit, maybe he'll
Well, I
Cynthia
just
hit
started Philip Dorsett, so that's good.
Ooh,
Good
yeah.
news
I
for me.
love Philip Dorsett this
Thank
year.
you.
He's
I
gotten
think this
better
might be the
every
Josh
year.
Gordon game.
Cynthia hit it
Josh
early
Gordon.
that this Bills defense is such a tougher test than anyone they face. Their offensive line's been bad. I mean, they're missing their starting center. They're starting Marshall Newhouse, who is a journeyman who's been all over the league. They just signed a couple weeks ago. He's at left tackle. Their running game hasn't been good at all, very quietly. So it's not quite the Patriots offense that we're used to seeing.
So we just heard that Julian Edelman is officially active. That means he's playing, and you are playing him for fantasy, but be mindful that it could not be the kind of production and upside that you would hope from Julian Edelman, not just because it's the Bills defense, but also because he was banged up all week.
All right, love it.
Have to have it. Have to know it for fantasy.
Perfect. We will get to those picks in just a minute. Now it's time for another huge matchup, this time in the AFC North. We talked about it, teased it earlier, between the Browns and the Ravens in Baltimore. Ravens are favored in this one by 6.5. What are you watching for, Greg?
Talk about a lack of respect for the Browns
I
already.
know. Don't even get me started.
I'm watching if they can just run an offense professionally. And we'll get to you, but Andrew, talking about the receivers, there was a lot of talk in training camp. Oh, let's build our toughness. We're going to be in pads more than any team. We're going to really build this team toughness. How about let's run the plays that are called? I don't see an offense in the entire league that seems more confused than the Browns offense, where guys literally don't know the plays.
Yeah.
Like that is their biggest problem right now to me.
Talk to me about not knowing plays. Freddie Kitchens in the play calling. I think I got more tweets and questions about what should they do? Is it analytics? Is it not? I don't even know what analytics, like what people were asking for that because really that's just creating a strategy. It's a tool in your tool belt. It's not a prescriptive method for anything. So for me, it comes down to, is Freddie Kitchens, is he able to dial in and call the game that makes the team win, including running the ball? Maybe not on 4th and 9, but
maybe not on 4th and 9.
Maybe not, but something like that.
I mean, you asked earlier, what do they do in this passing game? What is missing? How do you attack this with Jarvis and Odell Beckham against the Ravens? Now, the Ravens are susceptible to the big plays, but I think what's missing in this Browns offense is that deep threat, right? Like, you need levels of an offense, especially as a receiver core. Odell Beckham, walking in right there, clean as a whistle.
There's one guy you can throw deep to.
He can throw anyway. You always need a guy that you can win in one-on-one, can go deep, can go short. Jarvis is more the possession guy, not really the deep threat. Like a pairman they had last year was crucial for Baker because it kept defenses honest. Now they're just kind of sending guys down the field. And like you said, I don't know about the identity of this offense, and that's been a big problem and probably will be today against the Ravens as well.
I think Nick Chubb, or whoever is running the ball for them, probably Nick Chubb, is going to be one of the keys. If they can stay on schedule, then it's going to be a much better situation against the Ravens. If it's getting off schedule, where I've seen a lot of crazy decisions, right? Crazy, from play calling to execution to all of it, it's 3rd and long. What are we going to do? Well, I look great in 3rd and 26. How about you? Something like that.
Right.
So.
This is the wrong team. If you don't have your P's and Q's and Baker Mayfield's not seeing the field well, this is the defense that's going to take advantage.
Right. All right, well, let's check out some notable actives and inactives for the early slate of games. Melvin Gordon.
Look at that one on the bottom. Terry McLaurin, you got to do that because it's fantasy. I know
he's on
your. I know you figured this out in your fantasy
Hawk
team.
has been devastated by
injuries. Terry McLaurin being out is a big deal because the Giants secondary is a very good one to target for fantasy purposes. You could slide Paul Richardson in there if you are desperate for one of those upside sleepers, but be mindful, Terry McLaurin's been getting you nothing but touchdowns. It's not going to happen this game.
I'm crying inside right now.
I know. Lots to cry about.
Oh, man. All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. My homies. We'll talk about his game in Detroit today on Game Day View after the break. There he is. Julian Edelman, active today. Shorts are longer than usual. Might be scary for the Buffalo Bills. Quadzilla is out.
I mean, he looks fine to me.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I'm not hitting him.
Unfortunately for the Buffalo defense, I know Greg's excited about that.
They need Julian Edelman more than ever. It's crazy. I used to say he's better than Wes Welker. Patriots fans didn't like that take. Now that's not even a hot take.
That's not a hot take
better,
anymore.
Better career.
Yeah, that's not even like close to a hot take. You want to go through some proper performances, guys?
Let's do it,
All right,
Cynthia.
good. Let's start with this one. Jacoby Brissett, I think he's going to have at least 2 touchdown passes today against the Raiders. These are passes, not rushing touchdowns. These are touchdown passes. What do you think?
I like it, man. I feel like people aren't talking about Jacoby enough.
No T.Y. Hilton today, though.
Yeah, well, he's going to throw it to someone else. Maybe Paris
Ebron.
Campbell. You need a sleeper?
Ooh.
All right, next one. Bucks and Rams are going to have more than 50 combined points together, both teams.
All right.
Yes.
Is that a big day for Jameis or a big day for Goff?
Huge day for Todd Gurley. Pretty good day for Jared Goff.
Maybe a
Fully
little bit
playable
like
fantasy.
Eagles-Packers. People thought going into that game that might be defensive. I'm with you that this one opens up.
I like it. Okay. Christian McCaffrey is going to have, where's my picture of him? There he is. More than 110 scrimmage yards against the Texans. This is a tough one because their front is the strength of that defense. But I like it.
If you put CMC every week in here, I'd be okay with that.
Except against the Bucks, apparently, where we got
Yes,
that one wrong. We were
except
all wrong
that
about that one.
They don't have a linebacker that can cover him. I don't know if any team does, but the Texans do in the past.
All right, good. All right, going on to the Sunday Night Showdown. This one's probably the most interesting game for me. Alvin Kamara and Ezekiel Elliott will combine for less than, that's not as many as 250 total scrimmage yards. Remember, it's combined. It's not one or the other, and it's not both.
And that's where I'm jumping off the bandwagon.
I'm leaving as well.
I mean, going against Alvin Kamara right now is like going against Lil Wayne in New Orleans. Forget about it. He's just like, he owns that city.
Okay, fine. You guys say more. All right, last one. Daniel Jones. He's going to have more than 255 passing yards today against the Redskins.
Love it.
Wow.
With Saquon Barkley out, it's not that they're going to be better. Of course they're not. But they're going to be way more pass first, and I think that's ultimately a good thing.
I didn't say they're going to be deep passes. I just said they're going to be total passing yards. It's going to be more than 255.
Well, he's going to have a big test. So speaking of Daniel Jones, there he is. I'm going to say it, Cynthia. Danny Dimes.
Oh, God. Not
warming
yet.
up. The Dime Man. Getting
No
ready.
one's called him that.
Actually, we're going to call him the Dime Man. I'm
call
not
him the
okay
Dime
with
Man.
Daniel Jones, but I'm totally fine with the Dime Man.
All right, well, it's time to take us on the field with Kim Jones in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Two of the first-round quarterbacks from this draft will be on this field today. Daniel Jones makes his first start in front of the home fans. Meanwhile, Dwayne Haskins continues to sit behind Case Keenum. I've learned recently a couple things that I want to share with you. For one thing, the New York Giants loved the idea that Jones had 36 starts at Duke. They thought that heavily prepared him for this level. Meanwhile, Dwayne Haskins had only 14 starts at Ohio State. And Jay Gruden has talked about how even play calls have a learning curve, and that remains a work in progress. I'm also told that Gruden believes it's more than just the quarterback position that ails the 0-3 Redskins. Now for more, let's go to James in Detroit.
When I've spoken to people inside the Chiefs building, they tell me that Patrick Mahomes is actually better this year than he was last year during his 2018 MVP. And he's putting up bigger numbers. And the crazy part is he's doing it without his all-pro wide receiver Tyreek Hill, without his Pro Bowl left tackle Eric Fisher, and without his starting running back in Damian Williams. Well, how is he doing it? They had added help in LaShawn McCoy coming in late during camp and being an addition to that backfield. But also Mecole Hardman, their rookie wide receiver, 4.33 speed. Hardman told me this week he spends a lot of time with Tyreek Hill and picking Hill's brain. Hill tells him how to go against certain coverages, whether it's press or something to get open. Hardman leads the NFL in yards per catch. Look for this offense to not miss a beat indoors, guys.
All right, thanks, James. That's right. 2 undefeated teams matching up in Motown, Chiefs and the Lions. Chiefs are favored against your Lions, Cynthia. But what are you watching for in this?
I mean, I'm watching to see if the Lions offense can keep pace. We just saw Danny Amendola's out. I know that he doesn't necessarily, for fantasy purpose, have a ton of role in terms of getting you tons of fantasy points, but he has a huge role in blocking and scheming and distracting defenders. Yeah,
I feel like they can more than in the last few years. We had Hawks boy Marvin Jones on.
I love Marvin Jones.
And I think they're playing to their strengths by letting Matthew Stafford throw down the field. Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones. Like, who gets up and gets it better than those two guys?
I love it. Crazy stat that I read this week on them. They're the first NFL team with 4 receivers, including T.J. Hawkinson, Galladay, Amendola, Marv Jones, to have at least 100 yards and a touchdown in the first 3 weeks of the season.
And a nice running back. Believe in your team, Cynthia.
Look, I wear my lucky sweatshirt.
Anti-Lions.
I wear my
all
lucky
week, I feel
sweatshirt
like.
every work. It's worked for 3 weeks now.
Okay.
This is a tall task for the sweatshirt this week. It's
All
a
right,
really
well,
tall task.
That's a perfect place to start picks. Chiefs favored by 6.5. Cynthia, we'll start with you. What do you got?
31-23 Chiefs.
Okay, there it is.
It could be even bigger. Chiefs win.
Well, it's good. It wouldn't be on
Chiefs.
brand for you to pick with your heart. So,
Chiefs.
all right, what do you got for me, Greg?
I have the Chiefs winning comfortably too. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in September is kind of the most unbeatable phenomenon there. Even when he had Alex Smith, Andy Reid in September just trashed opposing defensive coordinators.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs as well. We're all aligned there. They're indoors, and it's hard to pick against Mahomes because he can score at will. It doesn't matter how many points he needs, he can get them.
So we all have the Chiefs staying undefeated. I have the Patriots staying undefeated, going to Buffalo. I saw an article this week in The Athletic. They had an oral history of the last time the Bills beat the Patriots at home in Buffalo. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. It shouldn't be 8 years ago that this is like the greatest moment in all these players' and fans' life that they won one home game. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What do you got?
26-17 is the score my model projects. That's a pretty big win. 9 is a lot of points.
I'm going to go with the Patriots, too, and I actually think they win bigger than 26-17 with no actual data behind it, except that I feel like the Patriots are a lot better than the Bills are.
Well, we go to a team that you have promised to now only pick with your heart.
Yes.
But I'm going to start off the picks for Ravens and Browns, and I have a pretty large Ravens win, 8 points, 28-20. Part of that is because of the cornerback situation. You got Lamar Jackson throwing against second string, easy for me to say, cornerbacks in this situation. So big win for them.
Second string secondary in this situation.
Look at you.
That's a tongue twister.
That's why you're the host and I do the math.
No, I'm going to go with my
Post-math.
heart, like you said. This is my last week of pick with my heart. If my Browns let me down. But I feel like that Baker typically responds to these situations, and we've been in this place before. We've seen other Browns quarterbacks, Browns teams get here and it go the other way. It's time for Baker to show us what he's made of, and I think he will do that.
I like the Browns defense keeping this game close where it's a low-scoring game, maybe a field goal difference for the Ravens at the end. Lamar Jackson, I want to watch. He really did not throw the ball well last week, so is he going to be that kind of up-and-down quarterback each week? If he struggles, Browns got a chance.
All right, well, next we're going to go to the Titans and the Falcons. Dirty Birds favored by 4 in this one.
4. That's ridiculous.
Why is that ridiculous?
Because I'll tell you why it's
Perfect.
ridiculous.
Tell me why it's ridiculous and give me your score projection.
Titans' strength, Arthur Smith's strength, is creating a run and short game gains that gets them in control of the ball. I have 23-21 in favor of the Titans because for me, this comes down to their ability to control the ball and then no Keanu Neal. That's not a good value proposition against the Titans front. So it's an upset for me.
The
Upset.
Falcons controlled the ball very well last week, moving the ball up and down the field. I like what I saw out of them. And to me, I don't know what the Titans' specialty is. It's boring me, is their specialty.
Yes.
It's going to Jacksonville and not being competitive with Gardner Minshew. I think the Falcons roll.
All right, I'm with you, Greg. I'm going Falcons as well. That's funny. Their specialty is boring. But yes, that is the perfect way to describe them.
boring.
I'm going with the Falcons offense.
It's like you could be a defensive team and be entertaining like the Vikings and the
Right.
Bears. I think this game will be really exciting, but I have Minnesota coming out on top in Chicago because I don't think Matt Nagy, the Bears coach, can scheme up as many open receivers and easy throws for Mitchell Trubisky this week as he did a week ago. So I take the Vikings in a close one.
You know what? I think it's going to be close, but I have 22-17. That's everyone's. Whenever you do math and you put a 22 out, people like lose their mind.
2-point conversion.
22-17. No, it's just it's like average of kicks plus touchdowns, expected return. You know, math stuff.
Yeah, we get
22-17 Bears. I am our producer's favorite analyst. That's what I have to say.
Don't pretend like you're not smart. This guy has an MBA from Columbia. I
Well,
found out.
there
That's
wasn't
Yeah.
as much math as you would think. I'm going Vikings as well with G here. I just think between the two, I don't think the Bears' offense is consistent. They had a big game last week. It didn't seem like something that was sustainable over time. With the Vikings, you can just hand it off to Dalvin Cook.
I told you I'm most interested in this Sunday night game, the Saints and the Cowboys down in New Orleans. The Cowboys are actually away 2.5-point favorites in this one. My model says, absolutely not. Other way, 24-23 home team. Who dat?
Who dat?
Wins out this game.
The Cowboys defense showed up last week. I usually am worried if I'm on the other side of Cynthia and both of you, but that's what happened Thursday night, and I was right about the Eagles. I'm going to be right about these
You could have been
Cowboys.
wrong easily, but you were right.
Yeah.
You were right.
I think the Cowboys get the win in New Orleans.
All right, I'm going with the Saints as well. Who dat? I think the Saints offensive line is underrated. I know we always talk about the Cowboys O-line, but I think that Saints offensive line is like kind of been their core, and Alvin Kamara is as important to his team as any other running back in the league, and maybe even more.
You bring up a really strong point. We saw a lot of potential injuries for the Cowboys O-line. Keep an eye on that in the beginning. And here's another board of actives, inactives. Darius Slay being out. Oh, goodness. It's going to be a long game for me as a Lions fan. Mike Williams out. That just makes Keenan Allen and maybe even Dontrell Inman a potential for fantasy for you.
I feel like Devin Singletary being out is a big loss for the Bills offense. I said they didn't have a lot of options who can break big plays. Love Frank Gore.
Ageless.
Wrote a long form about Frank Gore. He's not a big playmaker right now.
Oh, man, don't do Frank Gore like that. Odell Beckham getting ready. I don't see a watch, but maybe that's a good thing. More game debut after the break.
Looked like they were like passing an apple under. Comes back right to us.
There he is, Melvin Gordon, back on the field. He had to make the Miami trip, right?
Absolutely. He's not going to miss that South Florida trip. What are you kidding me? The upside down visor
in the front. Love it. Why do you need a back from Miami, though? I'd be a little worried. He's practiced a couple days.
No, I mean like because he wants to go to Miami.
I get it. I'm saying though, let's worry about his health.
Because he parties in Miami. It's a party.
Some more picks for the day. Anything jumping out to you? We're actually pretty mixed up today.
That means I'm the only one taking the Jags.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as in on Minshew Mania as everybody else.
I feel good that I'm the only one. I feel like betting,
it's a Jalen Ramsey
picking
thing.
against Daniel Jones in New York in his first home start. It's un-American, frankly.
We're not American then. We're not American then.
All right, now it's time to get to our best in class presented by Jeep Gladiator. We will tell you who we think is going off. Let's kick things off with you, Greg.
Well, the Cardinals-Seahawks game is the official game of game debut. Short guys everywhere. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. One of those short guys better than the other. Let's be honest. Russell Wilson is playing quarterback as well as anyone. I think he gets Tyler Lockett up. I think Chris Carson has a big-time game. This is a fantasy day where you put all your Seahawks in the pool going up against a Cardinals defense that I think is one of the worst in the league.
I love it. Sub 6 foot guys.
I mean,
how
way
can you hate
sub
it?
six
You love
in
to
my-
see it.
in
Is
my-
basically
my
what I'm
case.
saying. Cynthia, what do you got?
This guy's more than 6 feet tall, but Keenan Allen is going to get you, the kind of points that your
right.
sub 6 foot guys would get you. He's maybe short at heart. He loves our
love
show.
it.
I'm sure he's probably watching right now.
Play short.
Absolutely. Keenan Allen, look, no Mike Williams. You're going up against the Miami defense, and you're like, maybe he's not going to have the best day because they're not going to need him. Nope, this is going to be the Keenan Allen game. I got you.
All right, Keenan Allen
watch
going
it.
off.
They want to rack up stats.
Correct.
They have contracts
yes.
to sign.
And they've got
exactly.
He's got to play that piano.
Contract
He's got to
your
get the piano
guys.
money.
All right, I'm going with someone that no one would expect anyone to say. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh.
That was tongue-in-cheek. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is going to go off today. Why? Because he's playing indoors. Do you know in college, Patrick Mahomes averaged 125 more yards in indoor games than he had outdoor?
You know what makes that a lot easier to say?
What?
No Darius Slay.
No Darius
Without Darius Slay, sure, go ahead. You get a
Dude.
pass. You get a pass. You get a pass. You get a pass.
If the average increase continues today, he'll pass for over 500 yards.
Oh my God.
Great.
He might throw it for
Awesome.
7,000 this year.
Yeah, I love it. How could you hate it?
Awesome. I don't hate it. It's just my team.
Come on.
So what?
All right, let's hear
I
from
love
some
Patrick
fans.
Mahomes every other week.
All right, let's see what the fans are asking. When C. Freeland picks the Chiefs
Okay.
to only score 30 today.
Oh.
I
Say
mean,
what?
look, now that Darius Slay's out, I think that's probably up to 31-32. I can check the model when we're done here, but come on. You already know it's going to be huge.
All right, I think they were trying to accuse you of picking with your heart and steal.
I'm not.
All right, I need your flex help, Cynthia. DK Metcalf or Josh Gordon? Pretty please.
Metcalf.
Metcalf
Really?
over, even with the banged up Julian Edelman.
Josh Gordon getting
Okay.
a lot of targets every week.
I could be a Josh Gordon game, but this is a hard defense. This
All
is
right.
a really tough defense.
You're right. All right,
So
let's
go
get to
for
one
the
more.
easier thing.
Hardman versus Lindsey for my flex in a PPR
100%
league.
Hardman.
I love how you don't sit on the fence with anything. It's
No.
like not even.
At
hard
least
for
have
you.
an answer. Have an answer. Have a take. And that's what it is.
I love
Hardman.
it. Go Hardman.
Go.
Okay, that does it for us here on Game Day View. Make sure you keep it locked for Fantasy League 1 at 12:30 Eastern. Peace. Synchronized.